In today's video, I'll be telling you about Versus Sonic.EXE, a mod about one of the most iconic creepypastas of all time. I'll be explaining the events throughout the mod's main week, as well as the many references to other creepypasta, parodies, and even comics. This video is going to be a long one, so let's get into it. Starting out of the main week, we begin with Too Slow, the name of which is a reference to Sonic's iconic phrase and the creepypasta itself. The opening cutscene shows Sonic.EXE setting up a wooden spike that has Tails' head stabbed onto it, when suddenly a microphone is thrown his way. For whatever reason, boyfriend and girlfriend are in the Sonic.EXE game, and they're here to rap battle this murderous entity. During the beginning of Too Slow, an unsettling atmosphere is made through the slowness of the song and Sonic.EXE's hollow voice. In the background, we can see the wooden spike with Tails' head, as well as parts of his tails. Half of Eggman's head and Knuckles' hand are also seen lying on the ground. I'm sure we all know what this foreshadows. The song becomes upbeat after Sonic.EXE laughs towards the camera, causing an onslaught of notes to begin. Static notes appear that damage boyfriend if he fails to hit them, this pairing with the static and jump scares already appearing on screen, making the song suddenly much more difficult. Around the middle of the song, Sonic.EXE begins speaking, saying, This references the line from the original creepypasta, I Am God, Sonic.EXE having said this after Tails, Knuckles, and Eggman had all fallen victim to his power. He isn't wrong in saying this, as within the Sonic.EXE game, he is an incredibly strong entity who can take down whoever he pleases. It seems boyfriend and girlfriend are here to change that though, girlfriend protecting boyfriend with her demonic powers at the end of Too Slow, when Sonic.EXE attacks boyfriend. This leads into You Can't Run, the name again referencing the creepypasta like Too Slow. In the cutscene preceding it, boyfriend and girlfriend are walking through the terrible world Sonic.EXE has created, only to be confronted by him once more. Girlfriend protects boyfriend again, allowing boyfriend to pull out his mic again. Sonic.EXE at first appears enraged by this, but then smiles to himself, either because he's enjoying this little game he's playing with boyfriend, or because he thinks boyfriend and girlfriend are just preventing their demise. Something he would believe is inevitable. During the song, things have become a lot more intense, the static notes ramping up as well as blurry notes appearing that drain boyfriend's health. Around midway through the song, everything changes to be pixelated, resembling the original Sonic game's Green Hill Zone. There doesn't seem to be a particular reason as to why this happened, except maybe showing that boyfriend and girlfriend are in fact in a game, and have entered Sonic.EXE somehow. The end cutscene of You Can't Run seems to be Sonic.EXE's breaking point, as we see him roaring, this enveloping the screen with static. Suddenly, Triple Trouble begins. Boyfriend is facing off with what seems to be the reanimated corpse of Tails. We see the ends of his tails have been torn off, those being seen lying on the ground in Too Slow, as well as his right arm being missing. What's odd though is that during Too Slow, we obviously saw Tails' head on the wooden spike. This would mean it had been taken off the spike and forced back together with the rest of Tails' body. Quite brutal. Static appears, which brings boyfriend back to Sonic.EXE, except his appearance is quite different. This form is known as Xenophanes, and unless I'm mistaken, this is the new canonical appearance of Sonic.EXE created by the new owner of the creepypasta. This is due to the creator of the original creepypasta not being the greatest person, for reasons I'd much rather not bring up right now. This basically leading to the old design being scrapped by the community surrounding the creepypasta. This makes Xenophanes the only canonical design present in the main week as of now. Well, there is another canonical character, but let's leave him for now. Anyways, although this mod is a prominent use of the old design, in the You Can't Run sprites, we can see Sonic.EXE's fur has a tinge of purple to it, this alluding to his upcoming transformation. Also, we can see a key similarity the Too Slow design has with Lord X, that being the hands coming out of the mouth. So really, the original creepypasta is somewhat being ignored in this mod, which is probably for the best. More on that later though, let's continue with Triple Trouble. Next up is Knuckles, this being him under the control of Sonic.EXE, just like Tails. We see his left hand is missing, it being seen lying on the ground in Too Slow, as well as his mouth and eyes being completely hollowed out. Anyways, Static appears once more taking boyfriend back to Sonic.EXE, This is just the same as before, so we can move on to Eggman. He is arguably the most disturbing appearance out of the three that we see, both of his hands being missing, but more notably his own brain splitting his head open, as well as a broken, limp jaw. Something interesting to note is that during his section, static appears, but it doesn't switch back to Sonic.EXE. Instead, Eggman continues to sing when the static is faded. A theory circulating is that in the mod, Eggman somehow resists Sonic.EXE and mocks him by laughing at the fact boyfriend and girlfriend are beating him. This isn't exactly confirmed though, just a neat idea. Now, before we move on from Triple Trouble, I'd like to point something out. Girlfriend is nowhere to be seen during Triple Trouble, which is strange as boyfriend still needs protection. What seems to be the case is that she is simply out of frame, as on the story mode cover for Triple Trouble, we see her with boyfriend about to face off with Tails, Knuckles, and Eggman. Alright, that's all there is to the main week. Let's move on to the free play songs, as there's quite a few to get through. Starting out with the fan favourite, Endless. Personally, when I originally heard Endless, I had no idea who Imagine Sonic was, and just thought the song was a banger. He actually has quite an interesting backstory though. In Sonic's CD, Masato Nishimura, one of the developers for said game, left an Easter egg on the sound test screen, where entering a specific code would bring up this image. Although looking rather sinister, there was no malicious intent behind this Easter egg. The text reads something along the lines of Infinite Fun, Sega Enterprises, image by Imagine. This basically saying that with games created by Sega, in this case Sonic CD, the fun had by the player is infinite. People still found this Easter egg creepy for several reasons though. Firstly, how Sonic's face looks here. It looks nothing like Sonic at all. That's because it was Nishimura's depiction of his own face on Sonic. This image was created by him, his alias back then being Imagine. This being why it says image by Imagine. A slight problem with this was that in some cases, Imagine in Japanese means demon, this leading to people again being scared as the image was basically saying it was created by a demon. What contributed the most to the creepy nature of this Easter egg however was the music. You see, Sonic CD had different music for the American and Japanese versions of the game. Nishimura had chosen one of the boss themes to play on the screen, an upbeat and fun sounding one specifically. In the American version though, this boss theme was not quite as pleasant, and had an ominous laugh in the background. This again causing people to believe that Imagine Sonic was haunted somehow. All these past rumors seems to be what landed Imagine Sonic a spot in Versus Sonic.EXE, and I don't think anyone is complaining, as come on, you gotta agree that Endless is an amazing song. Anyways, moving on to the stage itself, Imagine Sonic's in the background that bop along to the beat, as well as the Imagine Sonic surrounding boyfriend when he dies, of course reference the Easter egg screen again, there being many of this Sonic present on it. What's strange though is that these Imagine Sonic surrounding boyfriend when he dies seem to transform him into one of them, this causing the game to crash, and a text document being made that says, "Fun is infinite, many, many times." I guess this is an attempt at making Imagine Sonic a bit sinister, but with the knowledge that the original Easter egg meant no harm, this is pretty tame. Up next is Cycles, the song featuring Lord.EXE. Lord.EXE comes from the Sonic PC port remake, one of the more recent remakes of Sonic.EXE that's still in development. Lord.EXE is quite similar to Sonic.EXE, but he is a lot more sinister than him, and this is perfectly represented through his sprites, especially in comparison to the old version. His most notable sprite is his up pose, where three hands are coming out to force open his mouth and hold up the microphone. This is a reference to when Tails is attacked, Lord.EXE's mouth doing the same thing with the hands coming out to grab him. Speaking of references, the strange plants seen on the stage, as well as the overall colour scheme of the stage, references the game Lord.EXE originates from once again, as you can see here. Specifically the eye sunflower, the teeth flower, the plant with arms coming out claiming to not be Knuckles, and the tree that bit off Tails in the original game. Anyways, one last thing to note about Lord.EXE is his deaf voice lines, which let's be honest, mostly go unheard due to Cycles being easy. There are 5 of them in total, but the 5th one doesn't exactly contain any words. It's just a bunch of high-pitched beeps and such. When put in a spectrogram, however, it reveals this image, showing boyfriend being held up like a puppet on strings by Lord.EXE. this being clearer in the original image. I believe this is representing that Sonic.EXE is actually in complete control over what occurs in his stage, but chooses to play along with Boyfriend's little rap battle game as he finds enjoyment in it. Next up is Sunshine, the song featuring the mysterious Tails doll. In a mod all about a bunch of evil Sonics, why is this doll that looks like Tails here, and why is everything 3D looking for the song? Well, the Tails doll originates from the game Sonic.EXE, a racing game themed around, well, Sonic, from 1997. This game featured the standard cast, you know, Sonic, Tails, Knuckles, Metal Sonic, the list goes on. But for some reason, there was also this Tails doll, a character never seen previously. According to its description, the doll is nothing more than a stuffed animal controlled by the red module on its head, designed by Eggman to catch Sonic unprepared. In Sonic.EXE, it would move across the stage by floating along, guided by the module on its head. Some people found this creepy due to how lifeless the doll appears, as you'd expect from a stuffed animal. This led to creepypastas being created years later when the Tails doll began to receive recognition again. In these creepypastas, the Tails doll is some kind of murderous entity that can appear in the real world and kill people by catching them off guard, just like Eggman intended, I suppose. Pretty generic, but still interesting, considering all the doll ever did in the actual game was just look a little bit creepy and weird. As for the name of the song, Sunshine, this references the song from Sonic.EXE, Can You Feel the Sunshine, a very upbeat and enjoyable song, that for whatever reason, seems to be what summons the Tails doll when the victim is playing Sonic.EXE. This just keeps getting more and more ridiculous, huh? I guess that's creepypastas for you. Anyways, when the lights shut off, the leitmotif of Can You Feel the Sunshine can be heard, this further referencing the song itself beyond just the name of the song in the mod, which is pretty neat. Moving on now to Fleetway Supersonic, who has to be one of the coolest characters featured in the mod. Fleetway originates from Sonic the Comic, a British comic series published by Fleetway Editions. Fleetway Supersonic is unique from the usual Supersonic in that instead of using his power for good, he is influenced into becoming a bloodthirsty killer, willing to kill innocent people with his immense power. So really, in Sonic the Comic, instead of Supersonic being a form that assists Sonic in fighting evil, it's an alter ego he has to keep in check so he doesn't end up killing all his friends. Anyways, as for the song in the mod, Chaos, this references one of the comic strips where Sonic is turned into Supersonic. He is having a conversation with Porker Lewis, the character we see watching behind the pillar in the mod. As they talk, he decides to sit on the ledge beside the Chaos Emeralds, when suddenly, a robot enters and yells out saying they are intruders, this startling Sonic and causing him to fall, this leading to his sudden transformation. In the comic, this is where he goes to hunt down and kill his friends, but in the mod, Boyfriend just happens to be there, and so a rap battle begins. Throughout the song, Fleetway is quite cocky towards Boyfriend, mocking him as they sing and even firing a laser towards him. That is, until Boyfriend suddenly goes super as well, this making Fleetway mad at Boyfriend, this causing him to try harder to beat him. What's cool about this super form of Boyfriend is that it's somewhat official, it being inspired by this short animation Phantom Arcade made back in February of this year, of Boyfriend going super. Anyways, moving on to the last thing about Fleetway Sonic, that being his voice lines you hear when you lose. They clearly mock both Boyfriend and Sonic.EXE, Fleetway saying stuff like, "If little hedgehogs covered in blood give you nightmares, you ain't ready to fight with me," and "Imagine being an executable file, heh, couldn't be me." This is pretty funny as it shows that Fleetway, for whatever reason, is completely self-aware that he is in a mod for FNF based around Sonic.EXE. Alright, now on to the last two songs in the mod, Faker and Black Sun. Well, the last two important songs in the mod. During these songs, Boyfriend faces off with EXE, a version of Sonic.EXE made by Revy, the director of the mod. In the first song, Faker, EXE appears to be replicating Sonic, well, at least as well as EXE can. Some notable differences are his darker skin, the lack of buckles or soles on his shoes, and his blue arms. EXE keeps up his facade for a while until when Faker ends, this beginning his disturbing transformation into his true form. After this, Black Sun begins, a fairly difficult song due to the health drain and inability to regain lost health. EXE is a lot scarier looking than before, having sharp, jagged teeth and pale skin. Okay, so EXE is some kind of evil Sonic who can shapeshift, but what else is there to him? Well, remember how I said he was created by Revy, the creator of the mod? Well, EXE is actually a work in progress, this meaning not very much is known about him, except for some small details that have been revealed. I did, however, find this clip from Revy's Twitter of Tails being burnt to a crisp by EXE. This likely being the explanation as to why his charred corpse is just sitting there in Black Sun. Well, I'm sure we'll get to know more about EXE someday, but I think that's all there is to it for now. Now, the moment you've all been waiting for, the two meme songs.
This is a certified hood classic.
First up is Milk, the song featuring Sunky. Sunky originates from two games, Sonic.EXE, where instead of killing everyone like Sonic.EXE, he gets them to epically dance, and Silly.TIFF, where everyone gets to eat some delicious milk and cereal instead of dying terrible deaths. If it isn't clear yet, Sunky is a mean version of Sonic.EXE, which is why in the mod, Milk is like the equivalent of Little Man, with all the meme references and such featured throughout the song. There really isn't much else to Sunky except for a couple of fun facts, so I'll just get started with those. The background in Milk is based on the scene where Sunky does the epic dance with Eggman, the rainbow disco ball and the speakers being clearly present. Sunky turns into SpongeBob twice in the song and his laugh plays. This is because in Sonic.EXE, the evil Sonic.EXE laugh is instead replaced with SpongeBob's. Lastly, dying to Sunky makes Boyfriend do the epic dance, this being Sunky's true goal from the start, truly evil. Well, last but not least, Sonic.EXE. I'm sure Sonic needs no introduction, he's one of the most iconic memes of all time, which is why there isn't really anything to explain. Huh, Sonic is best of me. There is nothing to even explain here, he just kills Boyfriend. Well, that's all for Sonic.EXE explained, I guess. I hope you learned a couple of interesting things about all the characters in this mod. If you did find this video informative, consider subscribing. Alright, that's all from me. Bye now.